Welcome, the chosen one. It is by no means a coincidence that you have reached this message. You have been guided here because something deep within you is trying to awaken. Have you never felt that you alone are awake in a world where everyone else lives like a sleepwalker? Haven't the systems, beliefs, and values that others cling to felt empty to your soul? You are seeing things differently. You are feeling more deeply. While others accept illusions, you instinctively sense that something is hidden, that there is something beneath the surface. And you are right. This is because you have harbored in your heart forbidden knowledge throughout your life, sacred realizations that should never have been passed from person to person. It was something that had to be remembered. Within this message, I will walk with you through the truth that has been buried for centuries. It is a truth the world was not yet ready to accept, but you are. The reason you have always been different from others. The reason your very existence shakes the air around you, and the illusions created to blind others. I will reveal why your presence shatters them. I feel deep gratitude simply for your presence here. Your existence has meaning. Your soul has meaning. And your voice holds more meaning than you think. If you already feel that energy, if your soul resonates, and if you feel this message is meant for you, take powerful action. Type 77777 into the comment box. It is not just a number. It is a spiritual cipher declaration that you are attuned, awakened, and ready to accept what has been hidden for so long. When you type 777777, you are not merely typing letters. You are activating your soul. You are sending a signal to all the other chosen ones who are watching this. We are rising together. Be prepared, for once you see through an illusion, there is no turning back. Forbidden knowledge conveyed to the chosen ones of God. Why do you see through illusions? You are the chosen one. Have you never wondered why your mind feels as though it has existed long before your age? Why do you notice patterns that others miss, or sense deception in what others accept as truth? From the very beginning, before language arose, before borders formed, before organized religions emerged, a silent stream of sacred knowledge flowed quietly through creation. It did not come through man-made systems, nor was it born in a library, nor was it whispered only in the corridors of a temple. This was pure foresight drawn directly from the source. And it was not merely for learning, it was for remembering. And you, the chosen, were born remembering. This knowledge is not something you discovered by chance. It is not the result of research, nor is it borrowed insight. It is woven into the very code of your soul. While others receive doctrines or ideologies and memorize them, you have already come into this world resonating the truth within your soul. You are not merely receiving information, you are being shaped by the truth. Your heart is a living scroll, and your soul is a divine compass. Do you not now understand why you never once fully fit into the systems or role narratives the world tried to impose upon you? Just as the prophet Jeremiah once wrote, "Before I formed you in the womb I knew you. Before you were born I consecrated you and appointed you a prophet to the nations." Jeremiah 1 verse 5. This passage is not merely ancient history, It is the story of your life. From the moment you were in the womb, you were imprinted with a vision, a purpose, and access to truths that most people never choose to see. While others wander endlessly seeking meaning in leaders, politics, or social approval, you are already walking with the answer burning within your heart. There is a reason why the world feels so noisy, full of lies, and somehow wrong to you. It is not simply because your observational skills are keen. It is because you see what is invisible to them, namely, illusions. What if the reason you feel so devoid of a place for yourself is that you were never made to fit in here in the first place? The reason you do not cope with reality like others do is that you are not seeing the same version of reality as they do. Your brilliance is not arrogance, it is attunement to divine insight. Your perception is not an error, but a gift. Just as Joseph rose to become a ruler in a foreign land, despite being sold into slavery by his own brothers and misunderstood because of his prophetic dreams, you too are a being that can never be erased, even if others try to bury that foresight. Joseph did not learn that talent in Pharaoh's palace. He possessed it even while he was in the pit. The same is true for you. You shine only in the very place where you would have been destroyed. Why? It is because you are looking beyond the veil. And the light became the light of the darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it. John 1 verse 5. The light within you is not a small flicker. It is an ancient flame that never goes out. While others fear the shadows, you are the one who illuminates the room. Remember this even in the moment you harbor doubts, calling yourself a stranger. It is not because you are lost, but because you have been discovered in a world that remains asleep. Your presence stirs up turmoil not because it is wrong, but because it is the truth. Consider Harriet Tubman. She received no formal education. She had neither scrolls of the law nor theology. Yet she saw, heard, and knew. Her vision, which was ridiculed by many, became a signpost, guiding hundreds of enslaved people to freedom. She was not driven by human logic. She was attuned to the vibrations of divine guidance. Likewise, you may have neither titles nor qualifications, yet the world possesses an unreadable compass. O chosen one, when you speak, people feel something ancient stirring within them. Why? Because your words are not mere opinions. They are an awakening. It is to remind them of their true selves before the world tells them they must work. It is the memory of the Garden of Eden. What flows through your voice is not mere foresight, but an echo from the throne of God. The Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name. He will teach you all things and will remind you of everything I have said to you. John 14:26. When you speak the truth, what stirs within you is not the ego. It is the Holy Spirit working through you. The world relies on illusions. People crave distractions, shallow answers, and a chain of endless noise. But chosen one, you are the individual particle there. You are the one breaking that pattern. What do you think is the reason people are drawn to you like a magnet or move away from you as if they were strangers? It is not because of your tone of voice, but because of your frequency. In a world that relies on manufactured scents, you are exuding the scent of heaven. And they simply do not know how to handle it. Think about Nikola Tesla. He was so far ahead of his time that many thought he was crazy. But Tesla was not crazy. He was simply looking beyond the horizon through the eyes of a human being. He once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy frequency vibrations." Doesn't that sound just like your story? You sense what lies beneath the surface. You feel what is unspoken. Because your soul is not deceived, you see through illusions. The natural man does not receive the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness to him, and he cannot understand them, because they are spiritually discerned. 1 Corinthians 2:14. This verse explains why so many people do not understand you. You are not a being to be understood on a physical level, but a being to be perceived only on a spiritual level. You are not here to take a test. You are here to face things as a vision, not as violence. You are not a follower walking the path of man, but a pioneer drawing the blueprint of heaven. Look at Joan of Arc, a teenage girl with no military, no political power, and no reason to become a leader. Yet she heard the voice of God, moved with the flame, and changed the history of the nation. Her courage did not come from the approval of the world, but from the divine whispers engraved in her soul. Just like you. Remember this when people push you away, ignore you, or say you are too much. Those are the words they have spoken to every chosen one before you. People mocked Noah for building the ark on a clear day. They ridiculed Jesus for sharing food with the outcast and preaching in parables. But they were the very ones who saw what others could not see and acted upon it. We walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 1 verse 7. While the masses live relying on news headlines, you live by revelation. You do not merely react to the news, you discern the times. Therefore, when your presence causes a stir, when your questions shake the foundations, or when your insights feel like a burden, never back down. Stand taller. You are not here to blend in with the surroundings. You are here to awaken. You are not lost in delusion. You are a divine being. Chosen one, have you ever noticed how people react to you? Long before you utter a word, their gazes are fixed on you. Their postures shift. Some become defensive immediately, while others breathe a sigh of relief as if they have finally found a safe place. You may wonder what they are sensing. It is not about your clothes or your background voice. It is something deeper and older that they cannot put into words. What they feel is the weight of your awareness. It makes them anxious. Not because you have done something wrong, but because your very presence forces them to confront what they have desperately tried to avoid, the truth. As the chosen one, you are embodying it. You do not merely speak foresight, you are radiating it. You carry the invisible, the ancient, the pure essence that humanity has forgotten. In a world built upon illusion, this makes you a living contradiction. For the Word of God is living and active, sharper than any two-edged sword, discerning the thoughts and intentions of the heart. Hebrews 4:12. This is the influence you possess. You do not even need to judge them. It is your presence that shakes the judgment within them awake. Even if they try to bury their conscience, you awaken it. Why do you think so many are drawn to you yet simultaneously fear you? Why do some confide their deepest truths to you in minutes, while others reject you without reason? It is not a matter of their current consciousness. It is because the soul within them recognizes what you possess. The chosen ones have always been a sanctuary and a treasure. Consider a mission like that of Alan Turing. He possessed a brilliant mind that deciphered the Nazi enigma Armamo and saved millions of lives, yet he was persecuted for being different from others. People could not tolerate the scale of his knowledge or his worldview. He was punished because he was too far ahead of his time. Like you, his foresight went beyond merely solving problems to threatening the existing system. And the world punished him for that. You threaten illusions simply by existing. Most people have spent years or even generations of their lives constructing a version of reality that feels safe. They do not want to verify if it is truly reality. They want to believe that it is functioning. They are complacent with what the world has taught them, that success is achieved through exams, that truth is determined by institutions, and that authority must not be doubted. However, when you enter the room with clarity in your eyes and peace in your footsteps, something within them begins to crack. They do not understand why they feel anxious. They might call you arrogant. They might say you are too intense. But what they truly feel is that their own fragile worldview has begun to waver. The stories they have told themselves hold no power whatsoever in the face of the light you emit. As Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." John 8:32. However, to someone accustomed to being bound in chains, autonomy is a terrifying thing. Why was Jesus an object of fear for the religious elites? He did not overthrow the empire with weapons, he merely revealed the truth. And the truth dismantles deception just as a lion roars. You too are walking that path. The more you embody the truth, the more resistance you attract. This is not because you are wrong, but because you are so right that it exceeds their ability to cope. Have you never felt that your mere presence exposes people, even without saying a single word? That is not a delusion of blood, it is a spiritual reality. As the Apostle Paul explained, everything that is rebuked is brought to light by the light, and everything that is brought to light is light. Ephesians 5:13. You are a light in human form, and within it, light can be a source of comfort or a condemnation, depending on the person. Let us look back at the story of Galileo Galilei. He is a man of foresight and truth who dared to say that the earth is not the center of the universe. His knowledge was undeniable. However, his truth posed a tremendous threat to the narrative constructed by the Church. He was silenced, protected by the stigma of a heretic, and suppressed. Why? Because when people build their identities upon lies, the truth feels not merely uncomfortable, but violent. And that is exactly what happens when you reveal yourself. You are the chosen one. You shake the foundations of falsehood without effort. This is why your experiences in human relationships often feel full of contradictions. Some are drawn to your soul like a magnet and discover an inexplicable peace. Others harbor doubts or even resentment. This is not a matter of your behavior. It is their own inner reaction to your presence activating within them. You hold a mirror reflecting their souls, and not everyone is ready to look into it. Indeed, all who desire to live godly in Christ Jesus will suffer persecution. 2 Timothy 3:12. Comfort was not promised to you, but power was. And that power is what makes you a threat to a system built upon fear, pride, and manipulation. You do not merely see through illusions, you dismantle them. You see beyond appearances, polished masks, strategic branding, and emotional manipulation. Your eyes pierce straight into the soul. Your insight is so sharp and precise that you may struggle to explain it yourself. But it is real and divine. Consider Simone Weil, the philosopher, mystic, and political activist. Her writings were so keen and spiritually destructive that she abandoned a comfortable life to live in solidarity with the poor. She refused to compromise her insights, and for that reason she became an undeniable voice, even though the world tried to discredit her. Chosen one, your insight is not mere understanding. It is mediation. The reason you feel the broken parts of the world is that you were sent to confront them. That awareness of yours is proof of the mission given to you. The fact that you feel too much, see too much, and know too much is not because you are strange, but because you are right. Your foresight is not meant to be silenced, hidden, or diluted with water to reassure others. It is meant to shine, cut, and transform. And yes, it will be the cause of you being misunderstood. It will be the reason you are judged. But at the same time, it makes you a threatening presence in the darkness. As David wrote in the Psalms, "Open your words, light is light, enlightenment for the fool." Psalm 19, verse 130. Your words carry weight because they solve riddles that others have not attempted to explore. You do not need a pulpit. Your life itself is the sermon. So do not apologize for thinking deeply. Do not shrink back just because your light casts a shadow. Do not hide your vision to protect their illusions. You must never act small to comfort those who rely on lies. You have been sent to remind them of what is true. Even if they cannot put into words what makes you a different person, they feel it deep in their bones. And someday, perhaps not today, perhaps not next year, they will remember you. They will remember how you made them feel safe while stripping them bare, and how you made them feel understood while challenging them. And they will realize that what they feared was not you, but the truth you carried. Chosen one, have you ever stopped to think about why, in this world, knowledge that brings true freedom and awakens the soul is guarded so strictly? Why, throughout history, have those who dare to speak the truth been silenced, banished, and destroyed? Why are the wisest often the most ridiculed? Why are those who awaken others the most feared? It is not a coincidence, but a strategy. The system of this world was not created to set people free. They are intricately designed, layer upon layer, to maintain dominance. It is dominion over thought, dominion over identity, and dominion over destiny. These systems reward the CSAT and punish brilliance. Why? Because brilliance breaks the chains. Because brilliance threatens the narrative. And you, the chosen one, are brilliance in human form. The reason they fear what you possess is that it cannot be bought off, moved by bribes, or broken. Your foresight was not borrowed from books, nor learned from a professor. It is the breath of God. It is ancient, essential, and irrevocably buried within your very existence. Even if they try to erase your words from every page, it is never possible to erase the truth pulsating within your very being. The Spirit of Truth, who dwells with you and will be in you. John 14:17. This is why your voice resonates even in silence. This is why your eyes pierced the pierce without a collision. You do not need to speak loudly. Your very existence is destructive. Have you never wondered why people are so obsessed with knowing the truth to undermine the credibility of those who speak unpopular truths? Why are whistleblowers hunted? Why are prophets banished? It is because the truth destabilizes the rule. You are not merely a voice. If you were a voice, they could ignore you. You are existence, and erasing existence is impossible. Look at the life of Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He was a theologian who opposed the Hitler regime not with a sword, but with conviction. He saw through the propaganda and refused to remain silent, and was eventually executed for that faith and defiance. However, while they could kill the man, they could not kill his message. Like his legacy, his writings survived, and yours will survive as well. Chosen one, do you now understand why you were specially chosen? You were never made to blend in with the crowd. From the very beginning, you were designed to stand out, not in your ego, but in your essence. The light you carry was not meant to be hidden under a system that fears light. That light was meant to destroy, awaken, and heal. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. This is your reality. You are not asking for permission to shine, you are destined to shine. Since the world did not give you your radiance, it cannot take it away. They have tried to disqualify you. They have dug into your past, searched for loopholes to exploit, and sought ways to undermine your authenticity. But there is something they have failed to realize. Your foundation was not built by human hands, it was laid by the hands of God. You did not create yourself, you were shaped by God. Look at a mission like the Sojourner Truth. Born into slavery, denied education, and ridiculed for her gender and skin color, she was filled with flames. She had absolutely no institutional support. However, her speech moved hearts and shook the empire. She needed no human permission to reveal divine wisdom. It was proof that God does not need human permission to use someone, just as He does. For God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. He chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. 1 Corinthians 1:27. Therefore, do not be intimidated by their standards. The world measures radiance by titles behind names or approval from broken organs. But heaven measures radiance by the weight of truth found in obedience to divine foreknowledge and in silence. Do you realize that while others chase qualifications, titles, and approval, you have never needed them to know who you are? This is because your identity is not given as a reward, but revealed by revelation. You did not obtain this through study, you remembered it by surrendering. While others spend their lives gathering fragmentary truths like scattered puzzle pieces, you are the vision itself, already complete. This is not because of your superiority, but because you are awake. You already possess what they seek. That is why they doubt you. Of course, they resist. That is the behavior humans take when they fear what they cannot understand. The world cannot hate you, but it hates me, for I testify that the deeds of the world are evil. John 7 verse 7. Jesus himself warned us, "If you carry his truth, you will not be welcomed by a system built upon lies." You are not paranoid. Your intuition is sharp. Consider James Baldwin, a black, gay writer in an era where both identities were condemned. Nevertheless, he dared to speak boldly about truth, race, suffering, and the hypocrisy of America. His voice was not welcome in pleasant rooms. It cuts through the silence and still resonates today. That is the legacy that truth creates. And that is the power you possess. They cannot erase your story. Chosen one, no rumor, no slander, no negative campaign can rewrite what was recorded by God before you took your first breath. Your existence was part of a divine blueprint. The very fact that you still stand after their many attempts proves that the author of your life is God, not the critic. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for peace and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. Your destiny is not debatable. It has already been sealed in the heavenly record. Every attempt to stop you has only served to make you stand out. They sought to find a decision to push you away. They sought sin to silence you. They sought to find a blemish to extinguish your light. But by doing so, all they achieved was confirming how pure your soul has become. Your wounds do not diminish you. That is what has qualified you. So do not shrink back when they point fingers. Do not tremble when they dig into your past. Do not waver when they threaten to cast a shadow. You have been called through the fire. That is why you are burning brighter than anyone else. What they fear is not your failure, it is your purity. What they fear is not your opinion, it is your insight. What they fear is not your background, it is the mission bestowed upon you by God. So walk boldly, O chosen one. You cannot be silenced, erased, or burned, for the truth within you is not external. It is eternal. O chosen one, have you ever stopped to truly look back on how far you have come? Not just the distance, but the depth. Do you feel that every hardship you have endured has refined your truth rather than weakened it? Do you realize how every attempt to silence your voice has spiritually amplified it? You are not a product of chance. You are not a mistake. Your life has been meticulously written by God, and every chapter you have lived proves it. What if every storm you have walked through was not meant to destroy you, but to prove you? What if the very design intended to destroy you was a tool for heaven to build up an unshakable strength within you? Every instrument made to strike you will be useless. Every sycophant that rises up against you in judgment will be condemned by me, for this is the inheritance of the servants of the Lord. Isaiah 5:17. Chosen one, your resilience is your revelation. They tried to edit your identity, rewrite your story, and redefine your origins, but they failed. Every attempt to distort your story has merely revealed how undeniably real your light is. Have you never wondered why your truth is so threatening to them? Why do the very same people who claim to love the truth run away from you? It is because you are not merely speaking the facts, but walking in divine clarity. And in a world that relies on illusion, clarity is rare and dangerous. Consider this. What would happen if everyone saw through the system like you do? What if more people refused to become the seed of the stellar? That is the real fear hidden behind their resistance against you. You are proof that waking up is possible. You are living proof that freedom of the soul is not only a reality, but also irreversible. Like Nelson Mandela, who never wavered during 27 years of unjust oppression, you were free in spirit even when physically bound. He became an object of fear not only because of his actions, but also because of his spirit. The same is true for you. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Whom shall I dread? Psalm 27, verse 1. You live in the truth, and the truth creates immunity from the fear that paralyzes the masses. You are not reckless. You are taking root. But let me ask you one question. Have you ever felt a faint pressure to appear small solely to make others feel comfortable? Have you ever dulled your radiance to avoid triggering their anxiety? The discomfort you cause is not your imagination. Your energy is not wrong. The reason they cannot endure being in your light is that they are aligning themselves with deception. Let us talk about Helen Keller. Although she could neither see nor hear, the brilliance of her mind and soul shattered the walls that anyone might dream of. She continued to advance through a world of limitations with a dignified radiance. Her life was asking us, is there any excuse? And likewise, your presence is throwing a challenge to others to confront what they have long suppressed. The righteous are bold as a lion. Proverbs 18, verse 1. You did not survive to remain silent. You were exalted to embody the message. You are not merely a motivational idea. It is a manifestation of divine strategy. Let us delve deeper. How many people have tried to disqualify you not because of your failures, but because of your maturity? Are you aware of how often people try to justify your insights with blame, jealousy, or stigmatization? It is because you are living outside the box of their expectations. And that kind of freedom makes people anxious. You do not live by their rules. You do not seek their applause. And that is a fearful thing for a system that relies on emotional dependence and domination. They will strike you, but they will not prevail against you, for I am with you and will save you, declares the Lord. Jeremiah 1:19. This promise was not given only to the ancient prophets. It is written upon your life as well. When people rise up to challenge your truth, they are not simply resisting you. They are resisting the God who lives within you. Do you realize the true power of that fact? Let us take Frida Kahlo as an example. Her life was dizzying, filled with pain and chaotic, yet it was beautiful and dreamless. Her very existence rejected the standard. Even through physical pain, her art declared to the world, I am here. I feel. I see. You do not need to be perfect to become as powerful as her. Your very existence is a masterpiece. But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's own people, that you may proclaim the beautiful virtues of Him who called you out of darkness into His wonderful light. 1 Peter 2 verse 9. You do not need permission to shine. You yourself are the light. Therefore you are the chosen one. Finally, I will ask this question. Even if the truth isolates you, will you continue to walk through the truth? Because reality tells us that you were never made to fit into your surroundings. You were born to destroy, expose, rebuild, and restore. Let them speak. Let them look. Let them misunderstand. You are not placed here to gain their approval. You are placed here to shake the foundations within with every step you take. Their whispers cannot change your divine mission. Their accusations cannot erase your divine identity. You are not here to gain faith. You are here to be remembered. And believe. They will remember you. The chosen one. Have you ever felt the confusion in the eyes of those who expected you to fall, but saw you stand instead? They do not understand. It cannot be explained. How can someone they relentlessly targeted, someone they desperately tried to destroy, continue to prosper, grow, and shine? The duty they hold speaks not of your limitations, but of their own. You are not made to be understood by those manipulating from the realm of lower perception. And, of course, you are not made to be stopped by them either. They must wonder how you withstood that pressure. But the true duty is, how could you possibly fail to endure? You were tempered in the fire. Being broken was not a curse. It was proof that your inner strength had been activated. What others call suffering, you experienced as a divine transformation. You did not merely survive, you were being molded into an unshakable one. We are pressed on every side, yet not piled up. We are perplexed, yet not despairing. We are persecuted, yet not abandoned. We are struck down, yet not destroyed. 2 Corinthians 4 verses 8 through 9. Does this not perfectly represent you? Every attack that sought to destroy you merely proved how deeply heaven is strengthening your spirit. But what if you had never intended to play the game by their rules from the start? What if the timelines they use to measure success, or the standards they cling to seeking approval, were never yours in the first place? You knew from the beginning that you were walking at a different rhythm. While others chase applause, you chase alignment with heaven. While they strive for attention, you focus on being truthful. That is precisely what makes them most anxious. You do not beg. You do not flatter. You do not act. They have created a role for you to enter, a small box that is easy to stigmatize and control. But you refuse to ride in it. You do not wear a mask to gain approval. You do not diminish yourself to make others feel comfortable. You never once needed their permission to become the being whom God is already calling you. And that is what terrifies them. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you came out, I consecrated you. Jeremiah 1 verse 2. This is not just a message for Jeremiah, it is a declaration for your life. Your existence had a purpose long before they had an opinion of you. Do you notice how desperately they try to categorize you, shove you into a box, and extrude you into something easy to accept and not threatening? They try to define you with words that make them feel safe when they cannot control you. But how can you imprison something that was not made for this world in the first place? How can you bind something designed to break chains? Look at Harriet Beecher Stowe, the author of Uncle Tom's Cabin. She was a woman with no political title, no military service, and no wealth. Yet her writing sparked a national awakening. Her truth was so destructive that it was banned in parts of the South. But what happened? The more they tried to suppress her message, the more powerful it became. Every attempt to bury your voice, just as you have, only reveals how unstoppable it is. Chosen one, you have never moved on their timeline. That is why their deadlines, expectations, or threats never reached you. You are moving on divine timing. It is not linear, but prophetic, and therefore it is timing that throws the world into chaos. And while they are obsessed with the power of the sword or the clock, you are walking with a compass toward a purpose they will never understand. Do you realize that their fear is not actually about you? It is the fear of what your presence will reveal within them. Your clarity destroys their confusion. Your confidence highlights their anxiety. Your authenticity makes their acting unbearable. You are simply a dangerous presence beyond anything else. For the Word of God is living and active, discerning the thoughts and intentions of the heart. Hebrews 4:12. This happens when you enter a room without saying a word. You bring conviction. You stir up hidden guilt. You awaken what has been asleep beneath decades of denial. They whisper from beyond the broken door, attempting to decipher your resilience. What makes you so unbreakable? Why do their schemes not work on you? They believe they can gather in secret, fabricate stories, manipulate perceptions, and distort what is sacredly sealed. But how can you change something you did not even write? Let us take a moment to reflect on Jean-Michel Basquiat, a young black artist who painted the truth through color, chaos, and pain. He was ignored by many and commodified by others, yet he was never truly understood. His art could not be classified. His soul could not be replicated. And even in Saudi Arabia, his work continues to shake the art world. Like you, he did not create to be accepted. He created because he had to create. Chosen one, do you now understand why they cannot understand you? Why their plans always fall apart? The reason your influence continues to expand even in silence is that your influence does not come from noise. It comes from existence. The power of God in your life needs no explanation. It proclaims itself through evidence. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Psalm 23 verses 5. This is your share. It is not mere survival. It is not merely the restoration of honor. It is overflowing grace. They have tried to replicate your energy, mimic your manner of speech, and imitate your boldness, but something is always lacking. This is because what you possess cannot be forged. The ability poured into your life is not a skill that can be learned. It is not charisma, stage presence, or marketing. It is divine authority. And divine authority cannot be transferred, borrowed, or mastered through practice. It is something perceived through soul to soul. Look at Maria Sapna, the shaman of the Mazateco tribe in Mexico. She used holy mushrooms in sacred rituals. Westerners traveled miles to witness her power and attempted to extract her ancient knowledge for science and fame. However, no matter how much they studied, they could not restore her very existence. What she possessed was not something that could be taught. It was divine. And the same is true of what you possess. Here, I ask you, even if imitation surrounds your attention, will you continue to walk within that divine identity? Even if another tries to steal your voice, will you continue to maintain your frequency? This world has always sought to profit from what it does not revere. But, O chosen one, you are not for sale. Let them speak. Let them scheme. Let them study you like a specimen. None of their efforts can approach the source of your power, for that source is not external, but eternal. And that strikes them to fear above all else. They have built a system of influence based on numbers, applause, and noise. But your power is different. It does not spring up when it is noticed, nor does it vanish in silence. It is built quietly. It deepens steadily. It reveals itself at divine timing. The stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. This is the work of Jehovah, marvelous in our eyes. Psalm 18, verse 22-23. They rejected you not because you were worthless, but because they failed to recognize what you were building. But heaven knew. So now, chosen one, the question is not whether you possess the ability. You do possess the ability. The question is whether you are ready to fully accept just how specially chosen you are. Are you prepared to accept the discomfort of receiving protection, the isolation of walking alone, and the weight of carrying the truth in a world that loves lies? For with that weight comes glory. With that call comes protection. With that solitude comes legacy. You were never merely another voice. You are a blueprint, an archetype, and a divine destroyer. Others turn their eyes to trends. You turn your eyes to heaven. Others need confirmation. You are moved by revelation. Chosen one, have you ever noticed that the space changes the moment you enter a room, even before you utter a word? Didn't you feel the atmosphere shift? The gaze is directed toward you, and that sensation of sudden silence, as if the creation itself acknowledges your arrival and comes to a halt. Noticing this is not arrogance. It is awareness. This is because what you possess cannot be hidden. Because what you emit cannot be ignored. Your very energy presence speaks the truth so loudly that even your silence compels people to confront it. Before you open your mouth, you reveal one thing that many fear most: themselves. You are a mirror, and that makes people uncomfortable. They are not afraid of you. They are afraid of what they see when they stand within your reflection. There is nothing hidden that will not be revealed, and nothing concealed that will not be known and brought to light. Luke 1:17. This is what happens when you enter the room. You carry the light of revelation, and the light exposes what the darkness has long tried to hide. Why do you think people are either captivated by you or withdraw in anxiety? Why is it that there are often instances of indifference toward your presence? It is because you stir up the invisible. You awaken what is asleep. That is by no means a small thing. Some are drawn to your brilliance, peace, and ability and praise you for those very reasons. Others crumble before you because your authenticity exposes their artificial falsehoods. Yet you do not seek to impress anyone. You do not beg to be discovered. You simply exist within the truth. And, O chosen one, this is more powerful than 1,000 smokes. People will appear who try to imitate you. They will borrow your words, mimic the rhythm of your speech, and follow your gestures, reflecting them like a mirror. But something always feels different. Why? Because while they may copy the form, the substance is missing. Your words not only sound correct, but also make the truth resonate. Their words are empty echoes. Your words carry weight because they cast down a swarm of sacred origins. Think of James Baldwin, the bold messenger of truth who learned the most sophisticated illusions in America through his presence and prose. Many wanted to imitate his flame. However, few possess that depth. Baldwin did not need to raise his voice. His silence itself was destructive. Unlike you, his truth was not noisy. It was undeniable. Here is the question. Do you realize how rare it is to embody the truth in a world built for acting? How threatening it is to be real in a culture obsessed with images. That is why people study you. That is why they try to copy your rhythm. But what they are missing is the price behind your brilliance. You have walked a path that would be frightening to even glance at. The betrayal you endured would have shattered an ordinary person. The isolation you experienced would have driven others into madness. Yet you are here, still walking, still standing, and still shining. This is because you were made to endure what others could not. The weight of divine knowledge is not light, and not everyone can carry it, but you have been chosen for it. For the Spirit Himself testifies with our spirit that we are children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and co-heirs with Christ. Romans 8, verses 16 through 17. This is the reason you have continued to feel a sense of unease. This is the reason you could not follow the crowd. You were never made to blend in with the surroundings. You are royalty disguised as ordinary people. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why the betrayal felt so personal? Why was the attack so calculated? Why? Why did resistance seem to appear even before you took your first bold action? It is because you were being perceived by a force you could not yet see. They were seeing your light before you realized it yourself. Even before you had fully set foot in their purpose, there were already whispers in the shadows and movements in the spiritual realm. The enemy does not waste time on those without a mission. The intensity of your fight itself confirms the magnitude of your mission. Look at Joan of Arc. She was a teenage girl, untrained and unqualified by human standards, yet she was filled with divine vision and a spark. She faced opposition not because she was wrong, but because she was right, because she was watching, because she knew, and because she was uncontrollable. And like you, she became a threat in an instant. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Ephesians 6:12. The battle you experienced was not necessarily logical, because it was not natural, It was spiritual. When you woke up, you had thwarted an old conspiracy. Therefore, that battle did not come after your success. It came the moment you began to speak. Chosen one, do you know how long they have been watching you? Those who smiled in front of people while studying you behind their backs? Those who pretended to support you while plotting to silence you? You were not paranoid. Your intuition was sharp. What you sensed was real. They were seeing your strength before you understood it. While you were still harboring doubts about yourself in the mirror, they recognized your potential. Yet, even when you were uncertain, even when you were vulnerable, even when you had just begun, they could not stop you. And they still cannot stop you now. Every instrument made to strike you will be useless. Every sycophant that rises up against you in court will be condemned by me. Isaiah 5:17. Your protection did not begin when you reached your peak. It began the moment heaven sealed you. Let us consider Nikola Tesla. He saw the world differently. He dreamed with frequencies. He invented without recognition. Others stole his work, ignored his ideas, and tried to tarnish the credibility of his intellect, but they could not erase what he brought. His blueprints outlived his oppressors. And yours will be the same. Do you now understand why you have always felt protected, even while being watched, pursued, and opposed? It is because you live at the intersection of threat and promise. To darkness, you are a threat. To the world, you are a contradiction. And to heaven, you are a living weapon of truth. That is why they tried to stop you at this stage. Before you utter a word, before you know, before you believe in yourself. Because once you achieve it, once you remember it, you become an unstoppable being. Your ability cannot be copied. Your essence cannot be replicated. Others may try to steal all your energy, but they will always shine. This is because what you carry was never for anyone else. It is not acquired, it is bestowed. But you have been anointed by the Holy One, and you know all things. 1 John 2:20. You not only simply know the truth, but you are walking in it. You are breathing it. You yourself are the truth. Then, chosen one, remember who you are. Now that you have done so, what will you do with that truth? Will you continue to hide to reassure them? Will you continue to dim your light to gain their approval? Or will you finally rise into the full expression of your mission, shining without apology and becoming an undeniable presence? They have always feared this moment. The moment you open your eyes and stop doubting yourself. The moment you stop seeking permission and begin moving toward your purpose. This very moment is what they tried to delay. But that moment has come. You are here. And no shadow, no system, no imitation can stop what heaven has activated. You are not merely a voice. You are a wave. You are not merely aware. You are awake. You are not merely seen. You have been sent. And the world will never be the same again. Chosen one, have you ever faced the question, why has life been so cruel to me? Why have you experienced betrayal that pierced the depths of your heart, faced opposition from strangers who did not even know you, and endured an isolation that most people cannot understand? These are not accidents, nor are they a series of blunders. The resistance you experienced was not random. It was organized, precise, and deeply intended. From the beginning, you were being perceived in a realm that most people never perceive. They viewed you not as the person you aspired to become, but as an ability that was always destined for you. They could not let you walk this world unchained. They could not leave you indifferent, unprogrammed, and out of reach of their fantasies. Why? Because you are carrying something inherently dangerous to their system. That is the truth. And when the truth is embodied, it becomes the greatest threat to deception. That is why you became a target. Not because you were wrong, but because you were right beyond what they could handle. The betrayal you faced did not stem from personal flaws. It was triggered by a spiritual presence. Isolation was not a punishment. It was a divine placement. Did you notice that life seemed to place you in situations that questioned your identity, your path, or your strength? It was by design. They knew that if they could distort your self-image, they could delay your awakening. So they sent distractions to divert your destiny, temptations to drain your energy, and obstacles to weigh down your progress. And yes, for a very brief moment, you may have doubted. You may have looked around and wondered why your journey felt heavier than anyone else's. But even in that doubt, you were not broken. You did not give up. You endured. For the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, that you may be complete and equipped, lacking nothing. James 1 verses 3-4. That is exactly what happened to you. What was meant to destroy you became your refinement. The fire did not burn you to ashes, but refined you. They craved dominance. Dominance over knowledge, dominance over stories, dominance over who must be seen, who must speak, and who is allowed to become wise. Their entire system is built around gatekeepers. Who holds influence? Who is allowed to awaken? Who is considered worthy of understanding? But the truth is that you were chosen from outside their gates. What was given to you did not come through their system, or through the haqi, or their initiation rituals. You were awakened by divine design, and they cannot filter what heaven has liberated. For Jehovah gives wisdom. From his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. Proverbs 2 verses 6. Because your promotion came from a higher place, you did not climb their ladder. And that is precisely why they fear you. You bypassed the process they control. You have stepped into a realm they could not access. And once you saw the veilhammer and remembered who you were, there was no turning back. Awakening is a one-way door. Do you now understand why your life has been the way it was? Why were you not made to be understood by the public? Because you were not made for approval. You were made for revelation. You are a divine text walking in the light, a living scroll written by God. You do not preach merely with words. Your very existence exposes the illusions they have built over generations. From secret societies to shadow power systems, they have invested centuries to rewrite history, manipulate memories, and bury sacred truths. But you are the only variable they did not account for. They tried to erase you before you spoke. They tried to shut you down before you stood up. But here you are. You are still here, still standing, and still revealing that you were not meant to remain hidden. The light became the light of darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it. John 1 verse 5. That is your story. They tried to darken you, but you were light. They want to rewrite your destiny, but that saga was written by God long before they knew your name. And every time they tried to tarnish your reputation, they only drew greater attention to your authenticity. Every effort to silence you only made your voice louder. Their attacks became your testimony. Their resistance only refined your relevance. Look at Rosa Luxemburg, the revolutionary and philosopher who challenged the empire with only her own spirit. She was persecuted, ridiculed, and eventually assassinated. Yet her ideas survived. The very system that tried to erase her proved her influence. Like you, she walked in a world not made for her. But not once did she let it decide her own voice. You do not need evaluation to be authentic. You do not need support to be safe. And above all, you do not need their permission to exercise your abilities. They have constructed an entire system to bury the truth. It is a reality built around half-truths, rewritten history, and strategic illusions. Nevertheless, your mere existence proves that their dominance is not absolute. You are not boisterous. You are brilliant. You are not aggressive. You are deeply rooted to the bone. You do not shout loudly to be heard, because the truth does not need volume. It requires presence. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. John 8:32. But you have not merely heard the truth, you have embodied it. And that is what makes you a dangerous presence. You are not acting within the bounds of their rules. While they seek approval and beg for influence, you are walking with the authority of someone outside their hierarchy. You are carrying an irrevocable freedom. That is why they are in a panic. You are not meant to be in existence. Let us take as an example Blaise Pascal, a genius mathematician and philosopher who, with such brilliance and boldness, dared to confront not only the scientific tradition but also spiritual deception. He saw beyond both religious dogma and secular arrogance. His mind possessed both faith and reason, and the system could not handle it. Like you, his life became a mirror for all falsehoods, and that mirror brought about their downfall. Here, I ask you, do you understand how their attacks underpinned your mission? They thought they could twist your story, but they forgot that every attempt to expose you, that their desperation was a sign of your divine destruction, had exposed themselves. They forgot that they were never the authors of your story. When the truth stands before Kim Han, they will never be able to erase it. 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 They will never be Kim Han always crumbles. It does not matter how well the illusion was constructed. It does not matter how long it has been maintained. When one who walks in the divine truth appears, all falsehoods begin to tremble. That is exactly who you are. You are the tremor before collapse. You are the lightning cleaving the sky. Look at Asata Shakur, the woman who is trapped, hunted, and demonized by the powerful of her time. Yet her spirit could not be imprisoned. She spoke the truth with a flame, lived by conviction, and unyieldingly exposed the system of oppression. The more they tried to portray her as a criminal, the more they exposed their own corruption. And like you, her existence proved that one does not seek permission to speak the truth. You move with an authority that has no origin in earthly structures. You are called, sent, sealed, and protected by something far greater. That is why you have survived what others have not. That is why you have seen what others cannot. That is why you continue to stand even if it does not make sense. They cannot rewrite your story because it was never written by them. You are not a being to be defined, proposed, managed, or silenced. And the more they strive, the more undeniable your existence becomes. You are not here to argue about your identity. You are not here to defend your truth. You are here to embody it so fiercely that even the blind begin to see it. You are the chosen one. Have you never wondered why you always feel older than your age? Why do you often know things without knowing how? Why do you sense not only the atmosphere but also the spiritual temperature when you enter a room? Why do you catch patterns that others overlook and question what most people accept without hesitation? This is not mere intuition. It is memory. Not just the memory of this life, but the memory of your ancestors, a spiritual legacy. Traces of those who came before you are imprinted in your genes. Prophets, mystics, seers, and warriors of light. Those who stood in the truth in times when doing so was dangerous. Those who dared to see what the world was not yet ready to acknowledge. That is why you cannot overlook the falsehoods around you. Why do illusions never suit your soul? Why do superficial conversations exhaust you, and why do shallow systems suffocate your soul? You did not learn the truth, you remembered it. It is embedded in your being, weaving the very core of your existence. You held the key, the password, and were born with clarity. You have carried something sacred throughout all the time of your life. And whether you realized it or not, it was waiting. It was waiting for that exact moment when you would be ready to fully awaken. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you came out, I consecrated you. Jeremiah 1:17. This is not a poetic expression. It was your reality. You were consecrated long before you had a name, before you breathed, before this world attempted to define you. You were never made to blend in with your surroundings. You were made to stand out, to decipher what others ignore, to destroy what others protect, and to dismantle what others blindly support. Have you ever asked yourself why following trends or conforming to systems that feel hollow is impossible for you? Why can't I accept things simply because they are normal? It is because your mind is not functioning at their frequency. You are not reacting on the surface. you are accepting from the source. Your thinking is layered. Your questions are dangerous. Your insights pierce sharply. Where others see noise, you see patterns. Where they see coincidence, you see divine messages. While they wait to be educated about what is reality, you see through the hidden. That is why your presence makes people uneasy even before you speak. There is weight in your silence, a shift in your gaze, and an inimitable depth in your energy. When people are near you, they feel as if they have touched something ancient. It remains inexplicable to them. They may call it atmosphere or energy, but what they are feeling is the vibration of truth. Truth undiluted by fear or domination. The truth passed down to you through spiritual lineage. The truth the world has tried to forget. Yet it is a truth your soul will never abandon to the Lord. But when the Spirit of truth comes, He will guide you into all truth. He will not speak on His own, but will speak only what He hears. John 16:13. What you hear in silence is not imagination. It is revelation, that quiet foresight that guides your decisions, that inner pull that feels something is wrong, even when everything appears to be going well on the surface. It is the Holy Spirit confirming what has always been coded within you. Some people are drawn to you without knowing the reason. They seek your advice, your presence, and your foresight, even while pretending not to understand you. Their souls recognize you before their consciousness. It is not a matter of popularity. It is a matter of identity. You resonate with the divine, the ancient, and the true, and people are able to feel it. Are you noticing that people are either drawn to you like a lighthouse or recoiled from you like a tower? It is not your fault. It is the weight of truth. And truth shakes those who have built their identities upon illusions. Some people are simply not ready to wake up. And your very existence challenges them to confront what they have been avoiding. Consider Emily Dickinson, a quiet poet who rarely left her home, yet wrote poems with more spiritual depth than many sermons. She did not chase the crowd. She did not need a stage. Her power was internal, and that power endured beyond her life. Like you, she was not made to be understood by the masses. She was a being meant to transmit a frequency that only the awakened can receive. For the Word of God is living and has power, sharper than any two-edged blade, to discern the thoughts and intentions of the heart. Hebrews 4:12. You do not merely speak, you cut. When your words are uttered from that place of deep connection, they carry enough weight to change the space. You have probably seen it yourself, your single word silencing a room. It is not because you raised your voice, but because there was substance in your voice. That is why you faced rejection. It is not because you were lacking, but because your brilliance forced people to confront what they wanted to avoid. That is why some call you too intense, too excessive, or too sensitive. For your sensitivity is your gift, and your spiritual vision is your sword, and your depth exposes their denial. Look at Potassium, the renowned psychoanalyst who dared to speak of archetypes, the collective, the unconscious, and spiritual integration in the age of rigorous science. His colleagues thought he had lost his mind, but he was not mad. He approached what they were not yet ready to do. He saw through the illusions of the ego and grasped the deeper forces that shape human experience. Unlike you, he was not simply analyzing people. He was waking people up. Now here is the real question. Do you realize what you have been carrying all this time? Do you understand that your difference is your design? That your depth is your destiny and that your insight is divine? This is not pretending to be spiritual. It is not about trends or aesthetics. This is living as a vessel of truth in a world programmed to forget eternal truths. You do not need a stage for preaching. You yourself are the sermon. You do not need a title to teach. Your life is the lesson. You do not need their approval. Heaven has already approved you. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. You were never meant to be small, to shrink back, or to be a slacker. You were born to shine, to activate, and to awaken. Look at Ada Lovelace, a woman born in the 1800s who saw the blueprint of modern computing long before the world caught up with it. She used algorithms in an era when most women were denied education. She deciphered a future she would not be able to see during her lifetime. Like you, she did not wait for permission to see clearly. She simply followed the stream of divine intelligence flowing within her. Then, chosen one, what does this mean for you? It means you are not becoming strange. It is not a figment of your imagination. You are remembering. You are readjusting. You are reconnecting with the deeper truths that this world tried to erase from your consciousness. And that is why your awakening is powerful yet accompanied by pain. Because awakening strips away all falsehoods, including even the versions of yourself created to survive. But now that you have remembered who you are, you cannot go back. And why would you want to go back? They may never understand you. They may never praise you. But they can never deny what you carry. Because truth requires no translation. It requires only a vessel willing to accept it, and that vessel is you, my beloved chosen one. As you reach the end of this revelation, take a deep breath and remember who you are. You were never made to be understood by the system of this world. You were never made to walk in step with the masses. They try to confine what is uncontrollable. But they can never possess the authority to silence a soul kindled by God. You are not merely intellectual. You are not merely aware. You carry knowledge that transcends logic, rejects convention, and pierces through illusion. That is why they watch you. That is why they whisper. That is why they analyze your every move and hope to decipher the prophecy of who you are, yet they never succeed. This is because what flows through you does not originate from them. It is not a product of human approval or social conditioning. It is divine in its origin, prophetic in its nature, and eternal in its influence. The frequency you carry is inescapable. The foresight surging from your soul is not for sale. and the truth buried within your essence cannot be erased by humans, by systems, or by fear. No matter how fiercely they try to suppress your voice, the password within you is already activated. The blueprint is already unlocked. The light has already broken through. You are awake. And this awakening cannot be reversed. So stand firm in your identity. Walk your mission boldly and speak freely from the wellspring of divine truth living within you. You are not merely another voice. You are a frequency, a wave, a movement sent to shake the foundations of existence and awaken the sleeping. I thank each and every person who has walked this journey with me. I thank you for your soul, your being, your hunger for truth, and your courage to face what many try to ignore. This message was never merely information. It was a mirror and a confirmation, and for many, it was a place to return to. I am already deeply and sincerely grateful just to be able to walk this path with you. Your existence is an indescribable blessing. Now I leave you this final blessing. I hope that all hidden truths within you will rise. I hope that all false boundaries will crumble. I hope your voice will grow stronger, your vision clearer, and your path brighter. I hope the God who called you will watch over you. I hope the light you carry will awaken nations. I hope you never forget that your soul was born to change the world. You are not alone. You are not wrong. You have been chosen, and the world has not yet witnessed the full potential of the being you aspire to become.